Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of That World with me, Tegan. So I'm back from my coach holiday, which was eventful, and I thought I would just dive right in and talk about it, and also just update you on my week, my life, my hectic day. I feel like September is going to be the busiest month for me probably this year, work-wise and life-wise, because I'm doing a lot of, I guess travelling, but just, I'm not leaving the country. Actually, no, I am leaving the country. I'm going to go to Amsterdam, but then I'm back in the country and then going to Wales, and then I'm back to work, and then I'm going somewhere else, so it's a bit hectic this month, but I'm excited for it at least. But anyway, let's start with the update on the coach hotel. The coach hotel, I meant the coach trip. See, even my mind doesn't understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, so if you weren't here last week, I was saying that I was going on a coach holiday with both my grandparents. Now, my granddad is afraid of flying, he's afraid of boats, he's afraid of most things. So, my family as a whole collectively decided, well, actually, no, that's a lie. My auntie decided that we're going to go on the coach trip because that was the acceptable form of transport and go on a holiday to Turkey in, I don't even know where it is. I think it's like Cornwall. I think near Cornwall-ish in England. And we all kind of agreed to it because we all wanted to have a trip with Granddad and with each other, because I don't see my mum's side of the my mum's side of the family as often as I do my dad's side. So it's quite nice to go on holiday with them and to just spend time with them and make memories, have a good time. So we were all kind of happy to go on this trip, even though we would have much preferred going to Portugal. But also my cousin lives in Portugal now, so as a family we don't mind going out to Portugal to see her and her husband, and that's also a very nice way to spend your time with your family on holiday. But my granddad didn't want to fly, but what's really funny is that he didn't want to fly, and then when we told him that we booked a coach trip, he was like, well, why don't we just go to Portugal? And we were like, because that's flying. And he was like, yeah, but it's Portugal. It's 2 hours. Why wouldn't we go to Portugal? And we're like, that was all. We would much rather go to Portugal than to Turkey. But okay. So, what's pretty funny is that my cousin from Portugal was here. And the day that we were leaving to go on the coach holiday, she was waving us off, and she was like, I'm going back to Portugal tomorrow, back to the sun and the warmth and good times. And we're like, yeah, I would want to be you right now, seriously. But anyway, the coach holiday wasn't all bad, but it definitely wasn't my thing. And I think it wasn't a lot of people think on holiday. I think the weather didn't help because we had a weather warning on the first day, and then there's also just not a lot to do there, other than walk up and down and go to the shops. I feel like it'd be different if you had your own car to get about, but because we were relying on the coach service and local transport, people just couldn't really be bothered to actually get up and go and do things because the weather was awful, so we couldn't do a lot anyway. And then a lot of my family were happy to just go and walk around the shops. So that's basically what we did. We went and walked around the shops, but it also meant that we were back in the hotel by 1 p.m. every day. And then we would just sit around until dinner service, which was at 6 p.m. So I will say it was the most downtime that I've had in a while. But I found myself sat looking at blank walls for a while, just waiting for something to happen, because I was like, I don't know what to do with myself and all this time. And I struggle to relax, especially in environments where I don't necessarily feel relaxed. Like when you're just sat in your hotel room and there's nothing to do. I don't find that relaxing. Like I find myself more relaxed, like going to a beach or going for a walk or actually sitting in a coffee shop and like people watching. That's how I relax. But they like to sit in the hotel and watch TV, which is fine. But yeah, a lot of my time I don't actually know what to do because I'm just sat waiting for the service. But I did get to have a nap, which was really nice because I didn't actually nap at home at all. So it was nice to switch off for a couple of hours and actually catch up on sleep a bit, which was enjoyable because I did get some good sleep while I was there. But the main reason that I wanted to talk about is, so obviously we went on the coach. First of all, we were the last people to get on the coach because we weren't late, but we got to the coach like 5 minutes before it was probably going to leave because my mum thought that it was going to leave at 10:45, and she was having a jolly at home, having breakfast, slowly getting ready, slowly doing a thing. And I'm there running around, and I'm like, you do realize that we have to leave in like 20 minutes. And she was like, oh my God. And then we were both rushing around. And I mean, very luckily, it is literally down the road from our house where the coach stopped. So we knew that it wasn't going to be that hard to get there on time. But I also wanted to try and eat breakfast or try and at least go to the shop to buy something to eat on the coach before we got on because I knew that it was going to be a long journey and I wanted something to eat. I didn't get to do that. I didn't get to have breakfast and I didn't get to go to the shop. So I grabbed an apple on the way out the house, shoved that in my bag, and I was like, okay, that will do until we talk about service. Because I knew that we stopped twice on the journey down. The journey is literally probably two and a half hours if you drive straight there. But the way the coach does it is it stops twice. So it stops like 10 minutes after we get on. No, it stopped 3 times. It stopped 10 minutes after we got on to pick up more people. It then stopped about maybe an hour in to go to the services. At the services, you stop and you stay there for 45 minutes. And then you get back on. And then it stops at another services where it collected more people and it went to the location. So it was a long journey. I think we left at 9:45 and we got to our hotel room at 3. Because also when we got to the location where we were staying, they had to drop some people to a different hotel first. And we had to wait there for like 40, I think it was an hour actually. We had to wait at that hotel for an hour. And then they would drive us down to our hotel where we would be staying. So the whole journey literally took 5 hours. It was so long. And the one reason why I hated the whole experience of the journey down there, and the one thing that I kind of forgot, is that I get severely travel sick on coaches. Like, severely. Like, so bad. And I forgot about this until like the day before, and then actually no, I did think about it before, but I thought, you know what? I'm older now. I'm better at traveling. I think I'll be able to do this. Like, I'm able to sit in the car and feel fine. I'm able to go on the plane and feel fine. I'm able to go on the boat and feel fine. Like, probably it's worn off and like I'll be okay and I'll be able to get on this coach and feel fine. So I was quite optimistic at least. But when we got on the coach initially, I kind of noticed that it was a bit more bumpy than what I remembered. Like, there was lots of movement that I could feel like, I could feel every lump and bump, but I kind of just brushed it over and was like, okay, it's fine. And then I vividly remember, because obviously, in order to get to Torquay, we drive through Bristol, and I'm always driving from Bristol, so I know exactly how long the distance is from like where we started until where we are. And the route that we drove, I drive most days to go to the yard anyway. So we got to a point where we went past my yard, and we were probably about 40 minutes into the drive. I know that we're not even on the motorway yet. We're on the motorway yet, and I can feel the sickness kicking in, and it is such a like light bulb in my body where I immediately feel sick. I immediately feel like, okay, I now have to fight for my life to last for the rest of this trip, because I know how far we're going. I know how far we are, which is 40 minutes, and I can already feel the nausea, the anxiety, the stress. And I looked at my mum and I was like, "It's here, it's here, it's arrived." And she was like, "You're joking." And I was like, "Well, at least I haven't eaten anything, so there's nothing to come up." And she was like, that that fucking works. You're gonna be dry heaving the whole trip." And I was like, "No, no, I promise you, I'm not gonna throw up," because one thing that one thing also about me is that I have is it emetophobia. I don't know if that is the word for it, but I have a fear of sickness, or like being sick, or anyone else being sick, or anything to do with sick. I just can't deal with. Which also is really funny, because as a teenager, I was the one that used to hold my friend's hair back and pat like that, and get them through it. I used to be the girl that was happy to like catch the sick and make sure we didn't get charged extra taxi bills for them throwing up in the taxi on the way home. That was my life as a teenager. And then for some reason in my brain, in my 20s, it totally flipped, and now I cannot stand being around sickness or being sick myself. And the level of anxiety I get whenever I feel nauseous is like unreal. So I think the nauseousness and the anxiety mixed together, not a good combination, because the anxiety makes me nauseous, and the nauseousness makes me anxious. So it's just a big cycle of like stress on my body. And anyway, we were on the coach, and I thought, you know what? I know that the first stop is about half an hour away, so I was like, you can do this. You can make it to that stop. It actually stopped one service station earlier than what I thought it was going to stop. So it was actually probably 20 minutes. And I was like, that's fine. You can get to the service station, you can carry a bag, and you can get something to eat and something to drink, so that you at least have something in your stomach, because I haven't had breakfast. But I also knew that I just needed to eat something, because I was starting to get really tired and weak anyway, because I haven't eaten. And it's now like 11, 12 p.m. So I was like, okay, we're going to get something to eat. We're going to get some carbs. And I had the other thing that I had, which I knew that I shouldn't have, but I needed it, was a coffee, because I was so tired. I was like, I need a coffee to wake up, but I knew that was probably going to make it worse, because it's going to send my heart rate through the roof. But I had the coffee anyway, and I had 2 hash browns, which were great. I actually had 1.5 hash browns. I didn't eat the whole thing because I knew that I had to get right on the coach soon, and my anxiety went through the roof again. And so then I prepared myself for the rest of the trip down. And luckily, when we got on the coach the second time, there was some spare seats around the coach. So I was able to sit on my own with 2 seats. So that firstly I could sit in a better seat so I wasn't directly over the wheel of the coach. That makes it worse when you're travel sick. And secondly, it just gave me more room that if I did feel like something was gonna happen, I had room to like not get on anyone, if you know what I mean. So that was nice. And then what I also did to distract myself, so I was like, I need something to focus on that isn't how I'm feeling right now. So I put on the Summer That I Turned Pretty on whatever it's on because I haven't watched it yet, but everyone's been talking about it and I really want to watch it. I started watching it like the day before we left, and then I made sure to download a few episodes that I could watch on the coach or while we were there. So I did that and I put that on, put on my headphones and watched that. And I swear to God, that show saved me on that journey because it gave me such focus and such like determination. I was just like, I have to get to the end of this episode. And then when that episode ended, I was like, I just have to get to the end of this episode. And that was the only thing that actually kept me from like not freaking out. And I kept like looking at my phone because I also have a what are they called? I have that ultra human ring, but it's like the aura ring where it like tells you everything about your body and stuff. And I was like, I know my heart rate is through the fucking roof. I know that my heart, like, I could feel the blood rushing through my body. I was like, I know that I'm like panicking, and panicking I was. My heart rate was like 130. So you can probably understand how stressed I was. But I carried on watching the show. I carried on just focusing on Jeremiah and Betty and Conrad and the whole storyline. It really just saved me that journey. And then what else happened? The worst part of the journey was actually when we got to Turkey and we were driving like, down these roads to the hotel. And I realized that if the coach is going straight, I'm okay. The moment that I start to turn is when everything goes bad. And it got to a point where literally as we're pulling up to the hotel, I was violently shaking in my seat, my eyes closed, my hands in fists clenched with the bag next to me, and I was like, Tegan, don't do it. I was talking to myself, I was like, you can do this, keep breathing, you can do this, you can do this. And everyone getting off the coach at this point, and they're looking at me, and they're like, Tegan, and you getting up, and I was like, I can't move. I was like, I need to just let this pass, because if I stand up, that's the end. That's the end. And my mum's looking at me laughing because she hasn't told anyone that I'm travel sick. So I was like, just don't tell anyone that. Like, I'll just keep quiet and hope for the best. And she's like laughing, smiling at me, like telling my family, oh yeah, T can get violently travel sick on coaches. And they're like, oh, that's so bad. Like, why didn't you drive down? We tried to drive down, but we got told that we weren't allowed and we had to get on the coach. Oh, I would literally, and I never felt like I have fought for my life than what I did in that moment. Like, I was either going to, like, probably pass out, but I was so stressed and so, like, just full of anxiety and stress and holding my body so tight, trying not to throw up. I felt awful. And you know what is worse? Is that feeling didn't leave me until like probably the day that I came home. I felt ill the whole trip because not only did I then not eat for the rest of the day because I couldn't eat because I was so anxious and so ill, everything that I tried to eat, I felt like I was going to throw up because I still had travel sickness. I'm motion sickness, I think, also, because when I was walking around Torquay, I couldn't walk in a fucking straight line. I kept, like, my body felt like it was swaying, and my balance was really off, and I couldn't, like, if I closed my eyes, I couldn't just stand still. My body would, like, lean to one side, and then I would stumble. Like, my whole equilibrium was off, and I just felt really, really weird. And I kept just thinking that I was gonna pass out. I was like, I think I was just so anxious that my heart rate was so high that I just kept thinking, like, I'm gonna close my eyes in a minute and they're not gonna open. I'm gonna pass out. And I had that for the whole duration of the day that we travelled up the whole time. And then the next day, because I hadn't eaten anything the day previously, really, I just felt really tired and weak and, like, really moody, which was actually quite annoying. But yeah, that was how my day went traveling to Turkey. And then because of that experience, the day that we got there, I think we got there. Well, we got there around 3 p.m. The moment I hit my hotel room, I looked booked a train ticket back home. I was like, I'm not doing that again. I I was like, I honestly do not care what the price of this ticket is. I'm not getting on that coach back home. I cannot do it. So I was like, now that I didn't want, I guarantee that I cannot do that again. I guarantee that if I have to get on the coach again, I will throw up, I will pass out, I will, like, it'll be the end. It'll be the end. So I booked a train home, and I was like, I actually just can't do it. And that was the best decision that I made all weekend, because the journey home was way easier. I had no sickness, no anxiety, no nothing. I just got on the train, sat in my seat, and watched some of that trampoline, and enjoyed my ride home, and it was way better. So I think the one thing that I have learned this trip is that I cannot go on coaches. Sadly, because they are cheaper, but I cannot do it for the life of me. And you know what is really annoying is that obviously if you're a commuter, which I am often, and if I don't want to drive, then I will normally get a train, but trains are so expensive. Whereas, like, I could get a coach to, like, London for, like, £10, which is, like, nothing compared to a train, which is, like, £60, £80. It's crazy, but I just can't do it. Like, I just actually can't do it. Even if I was, like, a superstar singer that had a tour bus, I don't even think I could be on a tour bus. I don't know. I just don't think I could do it. But that was how my trip started. And then the actual trip itself, I think it was just so funny because not only was I and my cousin the younger people there, they were also the only black people in attendance. And I mean, we've been laughing about it for like months because we see a group of old white grey haired people queuing up each week to get on their coach to go to Tokyo or to go to, like, Devon or wherever. And we just keep laughing that, like, that's gonna be us in a few weeks. And just so that you got, like, the mental image, my whole family is black. I'm the lightest person in my family on my mum's side. And we're also just so young. Like, even my granddad probably is younger than most of these people that are on this trip. Well, probably, like, my granddad doesn't enjoy being or doing things that, like, people think are for older people. Like, he enjoys his sports, he enjoys his, like, horses and racing, and, like, he doesn't enjoy going to a buffet to get his dinner and going to walk on, or like every excursion was like 2 hours long, or walking up and down a pier, walking up and down the shops. I mean, we tried to go to a museum, but we couldn't find one that was either open or close by. 'Cause my granddad does like a museum, so couldn't find one. Yeah, it was just comical, and like even the evening entertainment, it was like this tribute esque guy that would do songs from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Whenever he did a certain artist, he would dress up like them. So he did a rendition of Purple Rain in the Purple Cape, which was quite entertaining. And then the bingo every night. I did enjoy the bingo, I'm not gonna lie. That was also one of the best things about the trip. But bingo was at like 8 o'clock, and even by then, I was so tired from just doing nothing all day that by the second night, I was like, I'm kind of over bingo, but it was the only thing to do, so I did it. And actually, on the third night, we won, and my mum won, and she got quite a bit of money from it, so that's pretty cool, actually. I did enjoy bingo. But even that, I felt like it'd be way more fun with, like, a good entertainer. Like, the guy that did the bingo the third night literally just called out the numbers as slow as he could go. And it got to a point where I was laughing in hysterics because I was just like, this cannot be any slower if he tried. And it took forever. He took his time with every number. Oh my god, I was just laughing about it. I was like, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe what I'm doing. I can't believe this is how I'm spending my weekend. But okay, sure, okay. It was laughable, it honestly was. And even though I didn't necessarily enjoy the trip, I enjoyed the company of my family and seeing them and spending time with them all. And we all agreed that next time we'll be going to Portugal or going somewhere with more stuff to do, more sun, more entertainment, more everything, because there really was nothing here. But anyway, that was how my trip went, my coach trip went, and my next trip is to Amsterdam, and I leave in 3 days, and I've not done anything for it. I've not booked the accommodation, which I will do tonight. I've not booked parking for the car. I've not booked transport. I've not packed. So I have 3 days to figure that out. I've also got work, and I've also got an event on Saturday with cool ridings, and I also got to ride my own horse, and I got to find my second horse, and I got to edit this and put this up. So because of that, I'm going to go home, and I'm going to go and eat my food, and get on with everything that I got to get on with, because I could procrastinate for hours. And I'll see you guys next week for another update and another episode. And I probably will have something with more substance next week. But for now, I hope you enjoyed my traumatic story about how I was severely travel sick on the way to Turkey. And do you know what? The other trip that I did to survive was that I got hairbands and I tied them around my wrist so tight that they cut circulation. But because there's a pressure point on your wrist that stops like anxiety, I guess. Well, I normally have anxiety, travel sickness bands, but I forgot them. So I did the hair tie trick, cut circulation to my hand, but it did help. It did. So that's a trick that you can use if you need it. But anyway, until next week, have a good week. Enjoy your evening, enjoy your day, enjoy your morning whenever you're listening to this. And I'll see you then. Wish me luck trying to find someone to stay in Amsterdam because I need it.